I think we're live.
All set, Mr. Chair.
Okay, excellent. All right, welcome everybody. I would like to call the August 18th, 2025 Genoa Charter Township Board of Trustees regular meeting to session at 6:30 p.m. I would ask you please stand and join me for the invocation. Heavenly Father, we gather today with a purpose and ask for your guidance and wisdom as we discuss the matters before us. May your presence be felt, and may your will be done in our decisions. We pray for unity and understanding among everyone participating, and that our discussions will be fruitful and beneficial to our residents. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, can I get a roll call, Clerk Deaton?
Sure. Hunt. Here. Reiber.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
Havarder. Here. Susie.
Here.
Deaton here. Spiher.
Here. Okay, everyone is here. And with that, I would like to open the call to the public at 6:32 p.m., which is a quick reminder that you please speak directly into the microphone to ensure everyone can hear you clearly, and keep the microphone close as you're speaking, and try to speak directly into it. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, do we just want to clarify that the Timber Green has its own call to the public?
Oh, yes, absolutely, you are correct. So if you're here for the Timber Green hearing, if you would wait until the actual hearing for that part, and then you'll be separate from everybody else.
Hi, everybody. Deb Beatty, 3109 Pineview Trail. And I'm here to thank you guys for the last few months. You've had discussions about expenditures, and they got kind of detailed, and I appreciate that, and so do my neighbors and family that I've talked to. And we really do appreciate you watching the bottom line, looking at all the expenses, paying attention to invoices, and making sure that these are things that we need and that we're getting the best deal. So thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Deb.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Good.
Board and Trustees, as each of you know, I'm Rochelle Huntsman, and I'm respectfully asking this board to reconsider terminating the special assessment for Edwin Drive, 2025 through 2030. I don't want to see a nicely maintained road to go away. There were never any issues from 2019 to 2025. I should not have stepped down because that was when the issues began. I promised this board if they will reconsider not terminating the contract, I will not step aside again, and we'll have the same smooth collaboration we previously had for 2019 through 2025. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Rochelle.
Hello. Since there's so many people here, I'll keep this short. This is going to seem rather George Jetson-ish. But I noticed I signed up for text and email notices from the association or from the township. And it would be really nice when the packet notifications came out, if there was a link that you could click on so you could get right to the page in the website. Because I noticed they do that for the YouTube that this meeting is being aired on. And not that it's horrible, but it's just, it would be nice and convenient for the township.
I was talking about on the app.
It's not on the app, in the emails, or in the text notifications. You have to go to the website, and woe is me, I counted, and there's 5 clicks. Like I said, George Jetson, in order to be able to get to it. It would just be easier, that's all.
Absolutely, thank you. We'll look into it.
If you download the Genoa app, there is a link to make a tax payment, and it takes you right to it.
I think he was asking for the packets,
Yeah.
the board meeting packets.
Yeah, and those are on the My Genoa. Is that what you were talking about, the My Genoa app? Yeah.
We can add it to the packet as well, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else, Patty?
My name is Kelly Grooms. I live on Edwin Drive also. I have a slight problem with the way the whole road thing went down. For one, it's our understanding that Mike was going to take care of the road. He took care of the road. He had it graded. He had it chlorinated. Then about a week before, Ms. Huntsman came to our house and explained to us that she was taking back the road. At that point, I told her, it's not your authority, you have no authority to do that. She told me I was uneducated and I didn't know what I was talking about. And then a week later, she tells my wife that she's having the road done. But one day before that, she told me that Mike was too sick to do the road, which was kind of weird because a day earlier, Mike told me he was going to do the back of the road because the back did not get chlorinated. I'm thinking, yesterday Mike told me he's going to do the road. The next day, Ms. Huntsman tells me Mike's too sick to do the road. So she ends up doing another grading that didn't need to be done because it had just been done about a month earlier, and I had just already told her she had no authority to do the road, and that Mike was the one who we all approved to do the road. I'm a little bit upset that my tax dollars going to do a road that was just done and didn't need to do the road when I perfectly told Ms. Huntsman that she did not have the authority to do that and that Mike had the authority to do that, but she chose to do it anyhow. And then when she did it, it was a little frustrating to think that my tax dollars going to do something that didn't need to be done after I told her she didn't have the authority to do it anyhow. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly.
Mike Raffaello, 1619 Edwin Drive. So we've had trouble with our road, and obviously you've got a memo saying that we're looking at rescinding it. But there's been a lot of accusations, things said that have been put in writing. Board all got an email saying that I was not responding to people and that signatures have been gathered. And I'd just like to set some things straight. One, people signed an invoice because they were told I was too sick or other different things. And then it was attached to an email that went to the board that said I was being non-responsive. I've been doing industrial and government contracts and management for 40 years. My paperwork is good. The neighbors had the paperwork. Ms. Huntsman had the paperwork. There was no lack of paperwork. I and my family have maintained the road from '64 till 2008. I was glad to see somebody else take over, but the fighting and the FUs between the neighbors and screaming and calling the police, I thought that I could take over, calm things down. I get along with all but one neighbor. I thought I could make things peaceful. I failed. I admit that, not gonna argue that. But there's a lot of things that have been said that are just lies, and I don't like to be lied about. First of all, I didn't want to do it. Ms. Huntsman came down to my yard, kneeled in my driveway, cried for 30 minutes, asking me to take over. I agreed. She sent a letter to the township saying that I should take over. Okay, so I did that. Then I'm getting all these messages and drunk calls about, oh, I'm doing things wrong, and this and that, including a written message that she spoke to my aunt, who's deceased since 2012, about how poor the road maintenance is. That pissed me off. Don't talk about my dead relatives. Maybe it's okay with you guys, it's not okay with me. Again, I've been doing this for decades. I met with Kelly and Denise, talked about how I was going to do written authorization. Kelly sent out an email to the vendors. They all confirmed that they had it. And then on July 14th, they show up to do the September grading because Rochelle told them to. Well, the board only approved 2 gradings, spring and fall. This is an unapproved by the board, and I've been heard words that, oh, they did it in good faith, although acknowledged they got Kelly's email. Although they knew it was supposed to be done in September, and they didn't understand that July was before September, and other such lies. My thought is, lying and stealing tax dollars is a problem. We're going to rescind, you are going to rescind this, which is fine because I'm tired of all the fighting. But all of the things that have been said about me are wrong. And if anybody would like, I have written copies of everything. I'm an engineer. I've got probably 50 pages of printed material on this. So if you have interest, let me know. But I wanted to clear that up. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Hi, my name is Liz Sinishtai, 1622 Edwin Drive. I've lived on this street for 4 years. When I first moved in, the road was impeccable for being a dirt road. And when all of this happened, I came to the meetings, you know, so that we can reinstate the maintenance of the road. And I get actually Rochelle, Ms. Huntsman, brought over an invoice for the work that had been done. And for them to get paid, I signed it. It was under that stipulation that it wasn't anything to do with removing one and inserting the other or any of that. So I'm here just, if it's possible, for the two to actually come together, or we get one person that's gonna maintain the road. I come in at night, I work in a restaurant, I come in at night, I'm a manager, and I wanna see the road. I wanna see like where the potholes are, I wanna maintain road. And I'm fine with paying whatever that costs. And I think everybody else on the street, it feels the same way. So whatever this conflict is between the two people that are in conflict, I trust Mike, he's my neighbor, he lives next door to me. He's been very transparent with me. I don't know if he's been transparent with everyone else, but I'm very happy with his work and his diligence. I was happy with Rochelle's as well. Again, like I've only been there 4 years, everyone has been here longer, but I'd just really like to get it resolved today, if it's possible. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
My name's Phil Brown, 1681 Edwin Drive. I've been kind of part of this whole thing too. When this came up for the second time, I had issues with, we were supposed to be getting milled asphalt on the road, and it appeared that the last time all we were getting was crushed gravel. The road was real dusty, and one time it was real nice, looked good for a while. The second time, it didn't look good at all. So when we came, we decided we're gonna do it again differently, and we spoke with Kelly over and over again about using a different vendor, a guy that's close. We talked with K&B, and Mike said that his truck was down, his truck was broken, so he couldn't pick up the millings that we were approved to get from Rathers around the corner here, because I know the family there. Most of you people know them too. They're good, reputable people. They've got a huge pile of good asphalt millings, and that's what they were gonna bring us out. It was gonna be done cheaper, and the millings were right around the corner. We didn't have to go a long ways to get them, but the guy that owns K&B told Mike that his truck was down and that he wouldn't be able to come pick up the millings or do anything for 3 weeks, 6 weeks, something like that. Well, 2 days later, the truck is plowing up our road from another company, but it was K&B, and he had borrowed his truck from somebody else because Ms. Huntsman had called them and said that she was taking over the road and she was doing it. Now, we didn't want the road plowed up. We wanted fresh millings put down first and then have it all graded off and then having the chloride put on top of it. So I would made a much, much better project in the end, much better project in the end. But she did that, then she had it sprayed afterward. As soon as they came out, I went out there to talk to them and said, who are you speaking with? Because I had just spoken with Mike, and you're not supposed to be out here. Your truck is broken. You're supposed to bring us millings. You're not supposed to come out and tear up the gravel that's already down here on the road. And he started cussing me out, saying that, I'm not going to say it here, but that she was taken over and that he had gotten word from her that she was running the road. And we had this arrangement with Dave Rather. He had come out, give us an estimate on the whole thing. We brought it back to Kelly, talked to Kelly about it. She said it was fine. Well, afterward, we find out that the lawyer, your lawyer, whoever it is, said that we can't change vendors because that's what was on this contract. Now, if that was the case, Kelly's been here a long time. I would have thought that she would have known that when we brought this whole thing to her in the first place, that we can't just change the vendor in the middle of it. And we were told we could. We were given permission to go ahead and go through with it. Mike just had to write it up and bring it to her. But now we have this other situation here where we have the one person's taken upon themselves to go around to the neighborhood under false pretenses, get everybody to sign her little petition so that she'll take over the road. When we had it going on. We had it going right. The way we said we were going to do it, we were going to put fresh, good asphalt millings down. Then we were going to have that graded. And everybody in the neighborhood agreed to it except for one person that's been a problem for everybody at one time or another. Rathers were more than happy to come out and do it. And Dave was bringing his machine out. He was going to even grade the road for us, too. There was a bunch of us neighbors who were even going to have our driveways done at the same time. Much better deal. A local guy that's done all kinds of work for the township, too. It's a good, good family. And the whole thing got screwed up, and we didn't get any notice to it. I came by and talked to Kelly. She didn't really want to have 2 words to say to me. She said that Mike wasn't returning her emails when she had emailed them on Friday, and that was Monday when I came in. So, I mean, I don't understand where that was coming from. But we had the road set up to have millings put down, have them graded, have certain driveways done, and it was all set up beautifully, but somebody in their infinite wisdom decided they're gonna call KB and Big Barney, and for whatever reason, those guys came out and did it on that word, and they had already been informed that they were gonna get paid by the township after Mike approved it. That's not how this worked out. That's not how this worked out at all. And they came down, when I went out and talked to KB and asked him, did you talk to Mike? He cussed me up one side and down the other, telling me that I was effing around with them and that I'm just out here trying to make trouble. When, you know what, we gave Rather the job. We told them they were gonna do it. All we had to do was put the paperwork to Kelly, and then Kelly says, no, we can't do it because the lawyer said we can't do it. So somewhere, somebody's not telling us the truth. All right, so you want to close the whole thing down, fine. Nobody wants Rochelle to take care of the road. You know what, I've lived there 25 years. It's been beautiful. I've never had a problem with a single neighbor until she moved in.
Okay.
Mike was doing a fine job taking care of the road. It was all being done, but somebody jumped in ahead of it. KB said he wouldn't be out there for weeks because his truck wasn't working, but 2 days later, he miraculously showed up with a truck and tore the road up. So now you want us to pay for something that we didn't authorize? I don't want to pay for it either.
Okay. Thank you, Phil. Okay, that is all for anyone that signed up. Is there anyone who didn't sign up who would like to address the board for a call to the public on general items not on the agenda? Okay. Seeing none, I will close the call to the public at 6:50 p.m. With that, I will entertain a motion regarding the consent agenda.
I'd move approval of the consent agenda as presented.
Support. Second.
Have a motion, have a couple supports. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries. If I could receive a motion on the regular agenda.
Make a motion to approve the regular agenda for tonight's meeting.
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carries. Action item number 3 is a public hearing on the proposed Timber Green Court Private Road Improvement Special Assessment Project for Winter Tax 2025. And as of 6:51 p.m., I would open the call to property owners. So just property owners within the Timber Green Court private subdivision, please speak.
Good evening. My name is Bob Moran. I live at 3985 Timber Green Court. And as I mentioned previously to the board, we wholeheartedly request the board support our request for a special assessment district. I have with me tonight the contractor, in case there's any questions that need to be asked. He's here to help us all understand. There are some other people that have shown up. Does anyone wish to make another comment? 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got a good half dozen or so, so about 70% of the homeowners. So you can see that there's true interest in moving this proposal along. Thanks so much.
Yes. Thank you, Bob. I know support has been very strong from within the district. Does anybody have any questions of the contractor on the project? The members of the district have selected how they want that to go, and that is their selected
You're the
contractor. So.
contractor, R&R. So you're clear on who's in charge?
I suppose I should step up to the microphone and say that. Hi, my name's Mike Zaleski. I work for R&R Asphalt. Yeah, I'm clear who's in charge. I know how we got to this point. I'm pretty sure the folks in front of me are now in charge, if I'm not mistaken. So is that the question answered properly? Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the proposal while I'm standing here? Seems pretty
I
clear
think
then.
we're good. Yep.
Good.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other property owners within Timber Green would like to speak? Okay, we will close that portion of the call as of 6:53. And now I'd like to open it up if there's any members of the general public that would like to speak about this project. You are welcome. The floor is yours. 6:54 p.m., sorry. Okay, seeing no one from the general public, I will close that call. Still 6:54. Moving on, we have action item number 4, which is the request for approval of resolution number 3, approving the project cost estimates, special assessment district, and causing the special assessment roll to be prepared for the Timber Green Court Private Road Improvement Special Assessment Project for Winter Tax 2025. Specifically, this kind of deals with approving the project itself and who will be doing the work and all that. Yep. So, any questions or concerns?
Oh, seems to be a lot of support for this. That's great.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you for the detailed estimate. We appreciate that.
So with that, I would entertain a motion on resolution number 3.
I'll move to approve resolution number 3, approving the project cost estimate, special assessment district, and causing the special assessment roll to be prepared for the Timber Green Court Private Road Improvement Special Assessment Project for Winter Tax 2025.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I will ask Clerk Deaton for a roll call, please.
I'll start with Rick since he made the motion. Susie?
Yes.
Havarder?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Reiber?
Yes.
Hunt?
Yes.
Speicher?
Yes.
Deaton, yes.
Okay, motion carries. Action item number 5 is a request for approval of resolution number 4. This resolution acknowledges the filing of the special assessment roll, schedules the second hearing for September 2nd, 2025, and directs the issuance of statutory notices for the Timber Green Court Private Road Improvement Special Assessment Project. This particular item deals with the establishment of the SAD, who is actually a part of the SAD. Any questions?
I'd move approval of resolution number 4.
Okay, I have a motion.
Second.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? If I could, a roll call, please, Clerk Deaton.
Havarder?
Yes.
Walker?
Yes.
Reiber?
Yes.
Hunt?
Yes.
Deaton, yes. Susie?
Yes.
Speicher?
Yes. Okay. Action item number 6 is a request for approval of resolution number 6. Resolution scheduling a public hearing for Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025, on proposed termination of the Edwin Drive Private Road Maintenance Special Assessment Project from the Summer Tax 2025. Amendment of the confirmed special assessment roll, rescission of prior resolutions, and dissolution of the Edwin Drive Private Road Maintenance Special Assessment District. So this just sets the public hearing to actually consider rescinding the district. This is not a comment one way or another on the project itself.
Can I make a comment?
Absolutely.
I'm afraid, in a way, if we rescind this project, that nothing will be done with the roads. I'm afraid that there's residents here that have said that the roads have been properly maintained for several years, and now there's a lot of infighting, and nothing's getting done. If the roads aren't properly maintained, it will affect your property values, it will affect your cars and everything else, and even kids playing on the road. So I do have questions. If Mike, do you have where you can answer a couple quick questions for me? Was there a reason why you did not want to choose the contractor? Because we approved the special assessment based on the estimates that were provided, kind of like how Timber Green just gave us a detailed report of what was going to happen. Is there a reason why you fluctuated from that? Why you didn't want to go with the contractors and what was scheduled?
So a week before you approved it is when Ms. Huntsman showed up at my driveway and sat there crying and begging me to take it over. So I didn't have a chance to really review who the contractors were or anything. They were the old contractors we've been working with. I thought that that was fine. And I also thought that if there was a problem, we could replace them without rescinding this. Now we've learned that in order to replace the contractors, we have to rescind it. Ken from K&B has a habit of MFing the project manager, and that's okay. I've been doing this for years. I don't care. But when he starts MFing the residents while he's grading down the road, I have a strong problem with that. Shouldn't treat our residents that way. I don't think anybody in the board's gonna tell me different, okay? With Big Barney's, people called me and said, hey, they got thrown out of Howell Township, why are you still using them? So I did a bunch of research, looked into it, and then when they did their first application, I took pictures with geocoding to document where the application wasn't right. But again, I'm an engineer, so I move slowly. And I was gonna see how it was and see, you know, if it was just somebody's opinion or what it looked like. But when July 14th rolled around, Byron Myers of Big Barney's was there, and I said, hey, you know this isn't authorized. He said, Kelly Van Matter authorized me to do this. I assumed that was a lie, but wasn't gonna stand there and argue with somebody in the street. Ms. Huntsman argues with 4 or 5 different neighbors all the time. That's not my way. I spoke with Kelly, she confirmed that nope, she had not ordered any of that work. And again, as I said earlier, I truly believe that July is not the time to place the September grading. The board approved 2 gradings, one early in the late spring, one early fall. There's none in the summer. There was no reason for them to be out there. This is just, you know, a crazy amount of aggravation for a small project. And like I said, we've been there 60 years. And I actually, with my uncle, did the maintenance up until 2008 when I sold my construction company. I bought the gravel. I brought my machine in. I did all of it. Nobody paid me anything. And then some of the neighbors got together and put some money in to try and maintain the road after that. But it's not that hard to do. But if you've got people wandering around telling people you're sick or you're dying, or that they're talking to dead people, or following you home after work, that's crazy. And that kind of craziness, I understand that we need to have the road taken care of, but, you know, we don't need all the conflict. And even after I took over, Ms. Huntsman was arguing and screaming at different neighbors that she had fought about with the year before, even though the road wasn't being handled by her. She just likes conflict.
Can you tell me what is left for the year on that? Is it just the final grading?
Well, that depends. The board approved 2 gradings, one in late spring, one early fall. There was one done in the middle of summer. If you're gonna take it out of our tax dollars, I don't know what to do. We were told that you can't do more work than the board approved, although Ms. Huntsman did more than was approved in the first 2019, and that was okay. And she did July 14th, and that was okay. But we can't take a contractor that will give us materials for less, that meet specifications, and will do the gradings for less, because their name wasn't on the first round. I've not written board resolutions, so I don't know how that process works. But it seems to me that even if we were to continue, we would need a resolution that allowed us to get competitive bids, and if we had problems with vendors, that we could replace them. And, you know, I've talked with the supervisor, I've talked with Kelly many times. I do not believe that Kelly told them, go do this against the board's resolution. You know, didn't happen. So, you know, this is, you know, a lot of aggravation. And, you know, the other thing is, neighbors don't want to pay for work that they didn't need. Grading in July when we didn't need it, with our tax dollars, as I said, that's still in tax dollars. And all the vendors knew that they had to have written authorization, and Kelly sent them an email, and I called them and they all confirmed that they got it. Everybody knew, and then they said, oh, we're just gonna do some extra billing again, like we did in the 2019. Can't have it. We need vendors we can trust. Does that answer your question?
Yes, it does, thank you. I
Okay.
mean, I think that the problem is that the special assessment value that we charge is based on the estimates that were received. So if, we would probably have to cancel if you're not happy with the estimates. If you
No,
are.
we could work with the estimate. We found a vendor that would do it for less.
We're the vendors. I mean, we
But the
had
vendors, no.
specific vendors, specific pricing, which gave the total amount for each household that they had to pay. And I'm afraid if we veer from that, it's gonna create extra work for the staff. You're gonna have more infighting in the neighborhood. But I'm also afraid that if you guys don't do any work, you'll never get the roads done. So I'm kind of torn on what to do. I mean, the township
You are
should not
correct.
be
Once-
involved in.
Once I quit doing it in 2008, the roads went in disrepair. And there were potholes literally more than a foot deep. So, yeah, it will go into disrepair, there's no doubt.
The unfortunate thing here is, we have to follow the law. And the law states that we have to go by what this board sat here and approved, which is not the vendors you want to use.
Right. We
So,
understand that. That's
and-
why we understood that it would have to be rescinded.
Yeah. So our hands are tied. You know, I understand you don't want to use
Right.
the current vendor.
We understand that
Yeah.
the law is the law, we have to follow it. We
Now,
are upset that it wasn't followed on the 2019, and extra work was verbally ordered by Ms. Huntsman that was not included in the board's resolution, and that on July 15th, work that was not approved by the board was done.
now Kelly, if you know, Mike was listed as the project manager in the resolution we approved, correct?
That is not correct.
That-
There is
it
not,
was,
there's
Rochelle?
not a, no, there's never a name of
Okay.
the project manager in the resolutions themselves.
Okay.
We did have documentation on file, both before the day that you adopted the last resolution, then also on the day that the board adopted the last resolution. I verified with Ms. Huntsman that Mr. Ruffalo was in fact going to be managing the project, and I have email documentation that appointed him as manager, but that's not specific in the resolutions.
Okay.
Ultimately, we are responsible, which is why the slight concern of changing parameters within the agreement, because it will fall on us.
Understood.
If for some reason we choose vendors that we don't approve of after having the hearing and people did approve of the vendors at that time, it puts us in a bit of a conundrum.
And I explained that to residents, that that's why we had to rescind, because the board had to follow what was written in that motion. So,
Well, and if you recall, when we approved this, I had made this statement that the township doesn't do road maintenance, special assessments. We build roads for a subdivision, construction project, and done. And we stay away from the feuding between the neighbors, and for this exact reason.
understood.
It went so well the first time, we thought, okay, we'll do it again. But it has absolutely not gone well this time.
It actually didn't go well the first time, but else if I told you that, you wouldn't approve it, so I thought I could.
Well, there wasn't
move things
feuding at
over.
the township.
But no, the first time there was multiple police calls and things were very crazy. That's why I was willing to step back up. Because the neighbors have gotten along for decades and worked through, helped people, you know, we could talk for an hour on different things neighbors have done for other neighbors. You know, it's always been a nice neighborhood. We've been there 60 years, since I was a little kid. I know what it's like, so.
Okay.
But yeah, I remember you saying that, and I remember keeping my mouth shut, so. I admit that.
So I have, and this is a hypothetical situation. If it gets rescinded so that the text or the agreements could be revised, for example, hypothetical, we change the name of vendors. Hypothetical, I would suggest, you know, Kelly and Robin just had a conversation. There was nobody named who's going to be calling the ball on the project. I asked this gentleman, are you certain you know who's going to be the person that's going to sign your invoices and request payment? He said, I'm pretty clear. There was no confusion with that. But I see what we have here is, number one, the residents want it done. Right? We've gotten this far because there was a consensus among the majority that we're willing to pay out of our pocket some extra money in taxes to get this done. We need it. So there's some common ground here. Mike, you want it done. Rochelle, you want it done. And everybody else that spoke wants it done, but one way or another. I've heard some people say, Mike's done good work. Mike said he's done good work, and I have no reason to not believe him that everything's been maintained for decades to an acceptable standard amongst the residents. So it sounds like, you know, if you just did what you did and you've been doing, everybody would be happy. It gets done and it's going to be done to the quality that lasts for a long time. I have to cheer on Rochelle because she took this up, got the quotes, got competitive bids, brought it to the board originally, but had to bow out. she seems to have the heart to see this to the finish, just like Mike does. So Liz was up here earlier and says, I don't care who does it. I don't favor Mike, I don't favor Rochelle, I don't care. I just want it to get it done. My question would be, I guess, and if it's Mike, Mike's gonna be happy and some other people are gonna be mad. And if it's Rochelle, she's gonna be happy and some other people are gonna be mad. But I'm sure both of you is gonna get it done, by hook or by crook. I'm just wondering, knowing your neighbors, is there a third person that would be willing to just take this up? I don't, Liz? You don't care who does it, right?
The thing is, I'm the newbie.
Yeah, hey,
So I don't know all the conflict that is in, that's been there before.
but you're above the fray.
I have no conflict with anyone, and I
Okay.
have to keep it that way.
I'm just asking to consider maybe a three-person that votes 2-1, I don't know, something. But there's gonna be hard feelings one way or the other. No doubt you are gonna get it done. But making phone calls and changing orders and changing suppliers, this has just not been as smooth as we thought it would be. And I'm just offering that. I know you guys wanna get it done. Everybody here wants to get it done. But there's some people that have faith in one person, some people have faith in another person. I'm just asking, is there somebody else that just could be put in charge that is neutral, that hasn't stirred up any dust, right? I'm just proposing, if it's not you, Liz, maybe somebody else wants to raise their hand. Talk to Rochelle, talk to Mike, come up with a set plan, a set list of vendors, and just follow the script. It's as easy as that.
Well, the vendors, I believe, were already set when we established.
But if we rescind it, and we go at it again with a different set of vendors, same scope of work, except we've lopped off some of the work that's already been done, right? Would there be somebody else willing to step in and a neutral party and manage this?
I would have to ask people.
Mike,
I'm not
you
gonna throw
seem
one
like
of the
you've got the
residents under the
experience,
bus here.
100% for sure. You didn't want to do it at first. You were willing to turn over the mantle. Rochelle had the spirit. She did all the legwork to get the thing off the ground. Now we're here. Somebody with lots of experience, somebody with a lot of gumption, and we're stuck. So I'm just looking for the option of somebody else taking it over that nobody has qualms with.
I would have to ask, again, I don't want,
Well, you
speak for
and or
someone else.
Rochelle or somebody else, write a letter into the board or to Kelly and say, I'd be willing to do this. Get some signatures and be done with it.
Or if you end up living with the current vendors exactly as written, and you maintain project management of those vendors, that would be the only way to keep it on right now.
no. I don't approve vendors telling resident staff off. I'm sorry. And I'm not gonna work with someone who treats people. He did that to me on a couple of the phone calls, that's fine, I'm the project manager. But rolling down the window of his truck and screaming at residents, no, that's not gonna work. And as I said, I was taking pictures and geocoding because when I heard that Big Barney's got thrown out of Howell Township, it was like, oh, made a bad decision here. Gonna have to document it to see what we can do to fix it. So, you know, we have unacceptable vendors. And I selected K&B before 2019, back in 2008-ish when my aunt and a couple neighbors put some money together. So it's not like I haven't worked with K&B a long time. And, you know, in 2019, I put their name on the list because we'd worked with them before, but he's changed. I've never seen him act like that, and, you know, it's no way, you don't do that.
All right, well,
How many people from your association are here now? 4? 5? 1, 2,
5.
3, 4, 5. Out of how many homes?
17.
17. I would feel like I would need to see a stronger consensus of the residents of that community before I felt comfortable not rescinding it. Because I preside over 2 HOAs, like, aside from this. So I know HOAs can bring drama, and the HOA drama needs to be resolved before it comes before the township board, because all the township residents don't need to be part of your HOA drama. So, that being said, a strong resolution on y'all's part before it's brought before our board would be the only way that I could feel comfortable in not rescinding it.
Well, I believe we have to rescind it because we would
Well,
only change vendors.
not moving forward after it was
Oh, okay.
potentially
Understood.
rescinded.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's not an automatic that we're gonna jump back in after we rescind it with the drama that's already taken place. We've got to see some clear direction before we would reconsider doing this again. There's probably no question that we'll probably leaning towards rescinding it because of the infighting and the vendor choices and all that other stuff that's going on. But I think that if we were to reconsider going back into this project, it would have to be some really clear direction and parameters put in place.
Agreed. We didn't think you were going to reconsider. We just thought it would be rescinded.
Yeah.
I was just here
We're not
today
doing
to
that tonight.
defend it against the lies that have been said against me. So I assumed you were just rescinding.
Yeah.
The fact that the board's considering that, we'll have to talk to the residents and see if somebody would do that. And then again, we'd have to have the majority in agreement.
So this particular motion is actually just whether we want to have the hearing and send out the notice. So
Agreed.
this isn't actually the hearing.
Agreed.
So we're good. Thank you, Mike. I will say just a couple things I got to clear up. So in an assessment situation, the word taxes keeps getting thrown around. Those are not taxes. It is an assessment that you ask the board to do on your behalf. So it is not taxpayer dollars. It is specific members of the district. It is their money. It is referred to as an assessment. Also, I just, there's been some contractor names thrown around. Both of these contractors are well-established, so I'm not super comfortable, with them not here to represent themselves. I don't want this to be a place where we come and slam vendors. I drove the road. The road looks great right now, so whatever they've done is obviously okay. How we've gotten there, people seem to be a little unhappy with, but the current condition of the road is excellent. So they didn't do poor quality work.
I think the spirit of what, like myself, Bill, and, have said is so that the people of Edwin Road can maybe start getting their stuff together. The longer they have to get their stuff together, the better prepared they can be to try and help the situation.
Absolutely.
So I guess September 2nd is 2 weeks away, plus maybe a day.
Weeks and a day, thanks to
Yeah.
Labor Day.
Yeah. So I guess, Mike, you said we're gonna have to talk. There's a lot of talking and a lot of yes, okay, I concede, yes, okay, I agree type stuff within 2 weeks here. I think Todd made a good point. You got a third of the people here. I think Kevin made a point. You've got names bantered around that some are being slandered and some are not. That's not the stuff I want to listen to.
No.
I want to listen to, here's our agreement, here's the plan, here's the vendors, let's go. And here's the project manager. Not changing. Let's just get it done with. Follow the script. So that's a bit of work to be done in the next 2 weeks, before we vote 100% to rescind or accept. But the road to accept is narrow. Okay? I think Rick made that point. It's a narrow road that's the law is the law.
But I think there's something to be said for him having a history of maintaining the road and living on there
I agree.
and knowing.
That's for them to work out.
Right.
Right.
It's not for us to work out.
Certainly.
I agree.
That
Certainly.
drama needs to be handled on their end,
I agree.
and then a clear path forward needs to be brought before us.
For sure.
Agreed. So with that, I would entertain a motion on resolution number 6.
Do we want to set that for September 2nd or postpone it a little bit further to
That was my
allow some
comment. That's a
time?
lot of work to do in 2 weeks, a lot of politicking in 2 weeks. The question, do you have a deadline? Does the subdivision, do the neighbors have a deadline where they say, hey, by October 1st, hey, by November 15th? Because eventually some of the road work's not it's gonna get to late in the season to do that kind of stuff. I mean, could we, if you can't present a clear case by September 2nd, to Rick's point, if that's not enough time, should we consider making it the following township meeting to give the neighborhood time to pull things together? I'm asking.
I mean, the only option currently on the table is to work with the current vendors.
Yep.
I'm not sure that there's how much more time they need to sort of make a determination as a neighborhood whether or not they want to work with these vendors or not, which I really feel like is where we're at with it. So in my view, they should have enough time to
Okay.
sit down and talk about whether or not this is an option to move forward.
Like, do you guys have a formal HOA with bylaws and all that? Because some bylaws say you can't call a meeting without 2 weeks' notice, or without X number, okay.
Totally informal.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm Phil again. Everything was set up. It was going very smoothly until one of the residents interjected themselves and made themselves take over the whole thing, called the vendors on their own to bring the vendors out. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be here.
I appreciate that, but that's part of your HOA drama that isn't part
Okay,
of this, I believe.
Well,
Am I wrong?
that's the HOA drama, but Mike came and spoke to Kelly about using a different vendor. She told us, I was there, I was in the meeting. She said using the other vendor was gonna be fine and that it would work. There was money to do it, correct, Kelly?
That is not correct.
Look,
I said, if you want
we
to put.
sat in that room
We
together.
did, and I
we
said, if
talked
you
about
want to put
Rather.
information together, if you guys want to get some vendors together, get some proposals to me, that we would take a look at it. I never made a commitment that it was okay for you to
Okay,
switch
you didn't make a
vendors.
commitment, you told us to do it, we got the vendor, we brought the material to you. And because of other things that happened in the meantime, people coming in complaining to you, you said that the lawyers got involved and that we couldn't use the vendors. Now, if we wanted to say that everything was fine with the vendors that were on there, and these guys, I'm not gonna disparage anybody, but we're not gonna use them. We're not gonna use them.
The unfortunate thing here is, you know, the township is always looking at a way to help the residents and get
We had it,
And
we
get
had it
this
done.
to work
Yeah, we
for
had it
you.
done.
As-
Between the 15 people, the 15 different homes there, we have one that was creating an issue.
What I'm saying, though, is once, with all the issues here, once the attorney got involved, then we had to back off.
Okay, then, yeah, just rescind the whole thing. Just, yes, that's where I'm at, and I'll have plenty of other people to say, no, we're not doing it. Because nobody wants to live through this garbage again for another 5 years.
Well, the problem is that the road is never gonna get done if we rescind
We
it.
took care of the road. I've been there 25 years, and we've taken care of the road, and it's always been fine.
You
There's
guys
been
were
potholes in it.
100% on board and you all came in for support when we passed.
Well, actually, no, I didn't. I wasn't here. I was working nights, so I'm one of the ones that wasn't on board with it. But trust me, you're not gonna have all 15 people on board doing this again. That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. We have plenty of people that have had issues with the resident, and they'll all be with us next time.
How many years is the current vendor? Is he for the whole contract, the 5 years?
Yes. There were 3 contractors, and it's a 5-year contract.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, Phil.
I am,
Rochelle, will you fix that microphone while you're there? Will you fix that microphone?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
didn't
not
know it was
you.
messed up. All right, I guess I'm gonna sing a song here. What I wanted to say was, when all this came up, there was an understanding that all the vendors, is it not working? Oh, that everybody still wanted the vendors. And that when we came to the first meeting to speak about it, the second meeting, tell me if I'm wrong, was for people, residents, to come in to state why they didn't want the road maintenance done for Edwin Drive. Is that correct? Where people could speak up in that second
They
meeting
could come for
back
or
in April?
against.
Right.
Pardon me?
Just
Yes.
For or
comments.
against.
Okay, all right. So Then we got to the third meeting, and everything had been passed, but I just wished if neighbors had issues with the vendors, they already knew who they were gonna be. If they had an issue about the road, if they just would have spoke up about it. But nothing was spoke up till after everything was voted on by the board and the residents. The only thing that I asked when I sat down with Denise, with, for K&B and I think it's Earthway and Barney's, the only thing I asked is that K&B has mentioned that he's wanting to retire, but he didn't say when. And I asked the question, if it so happened within the 5 years, if K&B Ken decided to retire, could we find somebody else? And I was under the understanding we could, but it either had to be at the same price or it had to be less. If I'm wrong, then I misunderstood when I sat down with Denise, because I just wanted to cover that in case if K&B did retire, that we were able to, you know, get somebody else because we have the 5-year assessment. Does that make sense?
Well, absolutely. And I do think that in that regard, if there was a vendor change due to necessity, you know, I think absolutely the board would be open to considering that. We actually have a project manager change, 2 vendor changes, and snow hasn't even started yet.
And there's neighbors on Edwin Drive that would love to have a meeting, but one has not been set up, and it wasn't my responsibility to set up a meeting because I was no longer the road liaison. So I thought Mike, because of all the conflict that had been going on, that from all the time from being voted on up to now, getting the residents, regardless if we dislike each other or don't like each other, we're all here because we want the road. It's a nice road to drive on, it ups our property value, and I think it's good to continue to have. But if nobody's in agreement, or Mike's not in agreement of wanting to have a meeting, no matter who says what, I mean, you just have to listen. No one wants to listen to one person or not the other. You just got to come together and say, look, I don't care how I feel about you or feel about you, but let's get the road done. Let's keep this road assessment that we worked hard for to get in 2019. That's what I'm for. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time. I will once again put out there that I'm entertaining a motion on resolution number 6.
I will move to approve resolution number 6 to schedule a public hearing for September 2nd, 2025 on proposed termination of Edwin Drive Private Road Maintenance Special Assessment Project amended to the confirmed special assessment role, rescinding all prior resolutions and dissolving the Edwin Road Private Road Maintenance Special Assessment District.
A second.
Okay, I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? With that, Clerk Deaton, I would request a roll call, please.
Reiber.
Yes.
Walker.
Yes.
Hovarder. Yes. Susie.
Yes.
Deaton, yes. Spire.
Yes.
Hunt.
Yes.
Okay, resolution number 6 has carried. Moving on to action item number 7.
Excuse me 1 second. Could you give us a time for that hearing?
Second.
6:30 p.m.
6:30 p.m.? It's not on here.
Apologize, that should have been in there.
No.
Action item number 7 is the consideration of a request for approval of a proposal from Network Services Group LLC for the purchase and installation of a new township server with a cost not to exceed $64,070 from Fund 249, Building and Grounds Server Upgrades, line item number 249-265-981-016. And our IT guy, Adam Van Tassel, is here to answer our questions and give us a little update on this project.
Ladies and gentlemen of the board, good evening. My name is Adam Van Tassel. I'm here to answer your questions about the township server replacement and the cybersecurity enhancement of the township systems. We solicited proposals from 3 vendors and identified the vendor before you as organization most efficient to affect this township's server and cybersecurity enhancement. Did anybody have any questions as far as, I know there was a lot in the packet, a lot of it of a technical nature, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions you might have.
I do have a quick question, if that's okay. I remember asking this, but I don't remember the answer, and I think the board would want to know this.
Yeah.
So our current server is pretty much full of capacity, correct?
Correct, yeah.
And so when we switch, one of the main things is the BSNA software is eating up a lot of memory, but we are going to the online version in April of May or May of next year, correct?
That is the current schedule.
So it's going to free up a lot of space.
Yes.
If this does, is it completely necessary to replace the server still, and if so, why? Is it not properly functioning, or what's going on with that?
The server still functions, however, as software suites develop, as new technologies come out, the server gets farther and farther behind. As you said, the BSNA will be going to their online, but we did have an issue just in the past few weeks where the BSNA system made an upgrade that our current server could not handle. And we were able to do a workaround, but these type of issues will pop up more and more the older a server gets. Servers usually last around 5 years. This one I've gotten to go to year 8, and we're starting to hit the limit. Another problem is when there is some sort of disaster or a catastrophic failure of the hardware of the server, if you have, let's call it enough space, it allows you to do certain things to repair, but we have exceeded that limit so that trying to do a repair, it's more likely to fail. So we have a server that needs to be upgraded.
You can't petition off stuff anymore. Yeah.
No, we're full. We have a network attached storage, but that is separate from the server, so that causes some different issues. You can't, there's certain things you can't put on the storage. You can put some basic things like documents, but not anything more intensive.
So it's not just server space, it's server upgrades too.
Correct.
Server age.
More
The
importantly.
architecture of the server, the OS, we are still using an older version, so we need to get up onto the newer versions to take advantage of any software upgrades.
Like, think of where computer technology was 8 years ago versus now,
Correct.
when the norm is you don't want to exceed 5.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I appreciate all the work you put into this, and I know you fielded a lot of questions before tonight, and much appreciated. Getting the 3 quotes is very helpful. I know they didn't all recommend the same thing, but I'm personally thrilled to see that Network Services Group is who we're looking at moving forward with and staying with, because we have been with them for a long time, and they've done a wonderful job for the township. Thank you.
Plus, we're already servicing MHOG.
Yes.
And so we know
And
their
Juno.
capabilities, we know their support, we know them.
Yeah, we're going to maintain some continuity.
Yes,
Yes.
okay.
Which is very important.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah. Hang on a second. So Adam, I was one of the people that had asked questions ahead of today's meeting, so I came with not 50,000 questions, but less questions than that. One of the questions that I had was, we've got 3 quotes. The price seems all over the board. You got one guy that wants to sell a Cadillac, another guy the VW Bug, and another guy with a Capri or something like this. And I asked you the question, I said, these costs are all over the board. Are they all quoting the same apples to apples to apples? Because usually, unless you're out there trying to price gouge, you're gonna want the business, you're gonna be competitive, and if you don't wanna lose money, you're gonna quote enough to make your margin. And the quotes that we got was from over 200,000 for Peoples, I think, right? And then UTEC came in at 40, just under $50,000. And you're proposing, I do agree that if you have a good working relationship, that goes a long way. They've proven themselves trustworthy and reliable and things like that. I just, I looked at the quotes, I don't look at them through the same eyes you look at them. You're a lot more IT savvy, a lot more educated on what this, all these different acronyms mean. I'm really concerned that I don't know that it is apples to apples, even though you gave them all the same scope of work.
Correct.
For example, we had one vendor that does do master service agreements with all kinds of caveats and conditions and everything else in their contract, and then the other two just don't do them. So, I mean, that could make or break a project, right? What's in the fine print. And I'm not 100% sure that they all understood, even though you gave them, this is what I want. Their pricing quotes say, I'm gonna throw this extra on it because I'm a bigger company and I'm used to dealing, you guys are small fries compared to me, but I'm still gonna quote you the big guy. And then you get a guy over here that's quoting a lot less, and I don't know what the problem is, what he's missing potentially.
Sure.
Because obviously, if you're gonna recommend NSC, maybe the guy, UTEC, was just missing something that you said we had to have, and he just didn't quote it. Or if it's, if the vendor's reputation is really driving, apples to apples, but this guy has a good working relationship, so he's worth spending the extra money for, that carries some weight. And I know you said we've never worked with UTEC and we've never worked with Peoples.
Correct.
Before, so you don't know. It could be a Pandora's box with these guys. So that's just
But
my concern.
we do know how they've responded to us.
Yes.
And that's been poor.
Yes, you did say that Peoples was lagging excessively. When you asked a question or had a concern, it took them a week or 2 weeks to respond, which is not good.
No.
That's not somebody that's hungry for the job. And their price made them not hungry for the job either. Even though they didn't have access to the other quotes, that's a lot of money for a small township to cover.
Part of what we're looking at here also, though, is you can't really do an apples to apples. It's more like a landscaping project. One person may put, an apple tree there. One person, may put a pear tree there. Who's to say which one is better? I mean, in my case, I don't know in the IT world, so we've entrusted Adam to be our IT guy, and he tells me that this is the way to go. So it's a little bit different than like if we need somebody to stamp us out 1,000 fenders, they got to be in this tolerance and everything has to be just so. Then we can really get then it's just a kind of a number kind of thing, and do you believe that the person can deliver? It's not that any one of these groups has necessarily put together a better or worse plan. Everybody used a different brand of server, and I can see where that would absolutely positively swing the price pretty wildly. Adam is comfortable with our recommendations of the current network services group, and they are very respected in the industry, so I called around. Actually, all of these are excellent vendors. They just all looked at the project a little bit differently and came up with a solution that they felt was best, but it ended up with wildly different numbers, so we have Adam to sort through those wild different numbers and make to us his recommendation. And I was very happy to see that our existing company, kind of was the one that looked to be what we needed, because it means we've been getting great service for a while at a competitive price. So.
But the big one single carrot item cost was the new server.
Two of them were pretty close. One, for whatever reason, was way out there. What's that?
They were different brands, you said?
Yeah, each one probably has an agreement with a vendor. So each one recommended a different brand of server.
Is the brand that they're recommending like a good brand?
Yes, yeah. Only
Something you've heard
which-
of and not like something that's,
Something we've used before.
okay, thank you.
And Bob.
Were the other two recognizable brand servers?
Yes.
They were good qualified servers too?
Yes, they were.
Well, that's the big thing, right? This is what you're here for, is a new server. The auxiliary support and installation, labor, and all that kind of stuff is just fluff in the quotes. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Adam. That's the question that I had.
We apologize for the lightness of the packet on detail, but we don't necessarily want to give somebody in Kazakhstan the recipe for exactly what we're doing for our cybersecurity. So we'll have to trust in our IT guy, Adam, and we have all seen all the quotes and what the items are, so.
And Adam, you're comfortable that regardless of the pricing variation, that NSC has a good handle on what you want?
Correct.
UTEC may not have, and the other guy overshot the moon.
Correct, yeah. I think UTEC kind of underestimated how much time and effort it'll take to affect this server change.
Okay. So if they had considered appropriate labor hours, they would have been,
Pretty close.
I think they quoted 25 hours, and Network Services Group quoted 76, and PDT did, it was over 100. I can't remember how much, but it was, yeah, 3 or 4 times more than the UTEC.
yeah, that would definitely make a difference. That's why they could come in and lowball it quite a bit, because they just wasn't gonna pay the tax.
Plus, Adam's had the experience already with them on the upgrade for MHOG and knowing what it takes to do all this.
Oh, yeah, I agree. There's 100% good to have a good fuzzy warm feeling, because the guys worked with you. You've done all kinds of scales of different projects, and you said that their service is impeccable. They're exemplary, and that goes a long way.
Agree.
Okay. That was just my concern, was just the disparity.
Well,
amongst
absolutely.
the quote. And I
Yep.
just wanted to make sure we weren't, maybe the guy with the 200,000 quote put something in there that we needed and we forgot, or, wasn't aware that, with this, you need that.
Yep, no, absolutely. And we're trusting in Adam to provide us that information. Hasn't steered us wrong yet, so.
Would you
very
accept a
confident.
motion?
I absolutely would accept a motion.
I make a motion to approve agenda item number 7 as presented.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion, I have support. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same? Motion carried. Action item number 8 is the consideration of a request for approval of a proposal from Network Services Group, LLC, for 1 year for the upgrade of the township cybersecurity system for a monthly fee of $27.25 per computer and a monthly fee of $127 per server and a $625 installation fee from Fund 101, Software Maintenance, line item number 101-261-751-000. And I give you Adam.
So, as the motion is written, it is actually a combination of the antivirus proposal and the cybersecurity proposal. So those numbers will fluctuate once we start the actual applications. There are some things that we will not use the cybersecurity for. There are some things that we will not use the antivirus for. But I felt that to try and simplify things, I would present it in that way, but I can tell you that, if we need a different breakdown, I can provide that as far as, in just generalities. The antivirus will be about $500 a month, and the cybersecurity will be around $1,400 a month. That makes things a little easier.
Well, and wasn't it too that we wanted to look at per computer, so in case, we end up having to add another
Correct.
computer at the empty desk and assessing, say, then it would be approved under this motion.
Yeah, we want to give ourselves a little flexibility for, in the case of we add computers, we subtract computers. So this kind of gives us a little more leeway as far as what we will be purchasing per computer, per server.
What are you paying now?
I'd rather not
Oh.
say if I don't
Okay.
have to.
I do have a question. When I was talking to you earlier, I thought when we added them together, they were around $1,468 a month together, and now you're saying it's about $1,900 a month. Is that correct?
It's $1,430 for the cybersecurity,
Oh, $1,430, and then $500 for the.
$500 for the antivirus, yeah.
Which not all programs will have both.
Correct.
So it's not a total per month.
Right, yeah.
And this is locked in for 1 year. Does that mean that it could potentially go up after that?
It could potentially. I've not worked with this antivirus person The last one, they kept their rates pretty similar year after year, but that doesn't mean that these people will not change things, so.
Adam, my previous employer, we had a software program. It was rolled out corporate-wide. You had to buy licenses for every user. There's, there's a fee. The more users of this, the more costly it becomes.
Yeah.
We were offered what was called a floating license.
Okay.
Anybody that could get on the internet and was a licensed user, they signed up and, all this kind of stuff, they could use it on any computer, their home computer, their tablet, whatever it is they had, but they limited it. You can only have 10 people using the service at the same time.
Right.
The 11th person would just get a busy signal. Sorry, network service is unavailable, blah, 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 blah. Is going with a floating license so that we don't have to pay every single computer an option and just go with a floating license? I mean, and just say, hey, 10. Is this something that maybe only 10 people need to be on it at the exact same time?
Floating licenses present for us a different problem because when you're talking about multiple devices, and it sounds like devices that would not be under the township system, then we get into a problem because then we're responsible for those devices, even if they aren't ours, if there are issues with them. So if you put it on your nephew's laptop and something happened with that laptop, I'm not sure of the liability issues that the township would face having a licensed product that was paid for by the township on somebody who might not even be a township resident or employee or staff member.
And honestly, I don't see that we can limit this to 10 people.
Or 20, or however.
Well, also
they
keep in
see
mind, this is
reasonable. In my case, it was
cybersecurity.
10.
Instead of like a program, though, this is security.
Right.
So, and since we do have very detailed information about 21,000 people, we probably don't want to skimp.
And a couple dollars.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a valid concern. Thank you.
So the way the motion is read, should it stay with the monthly per computer? Because we don't know how many we're gonna have operating at the time?
I think the flexibility
But you, okay.
is a
And that
must.
number is correct at 2725 regardless? Okay. All right.
How many computers do you think we have right now that would take this?
I would, between 60 and 100, shall we say?
And how many servers?
Less than
60.
10,
60.
let's say.
Less than 10 servers, so that's 1270 at 10. 625 flat installation, and up to 100 individual computers, that's 2,700 plus 1,270, that's 4,000, that's 4,000 some dollars a month.
So Genoa Township isn't, this is broken out to DPW as well, because all of the guys in the field have their tablets. So this isn't a complete, when you
okay.
times all of those by the monthly, it's not all paid
They're
by the
gonna
general
all chip in
fund.
somehow?
They all, it's
They
all
pay their
broke
share.
out.
Yep.
Okay.
So Oak Point GeoMhog will pay their shares. We would only pay ours.
So if we approve this, then we're gonna be paying it out and everybody's gonna pay us back then.
In essence, they'll pay us ahead of, I mean, the chances are we'll have a check for them before we have to write our check out, but yes. Yeah, they cover their portion of the cost. It's a little intertwined right now.
Okay.
Thank you, Adam.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
I would move to approve the proposal for NSG LLC for 1 year of the upgrade of the township cybersecurity system as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, I would ask all those in favor to signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye? Opposed, the same. Motion carried. At this time, I would like to ask for member updates. We'll start with that side of the table and work our way across.
Yay. All right. So, a week or so ago, I got an email from Clerk Deaton regarding a question that the clerk for the city of Schwartz Creek forwarded, or sent to her regarding the article, there's an app for that, in Michigan Township Association magazine. So she and I, the clerk of Schwartz Creek was, she had questions about the app and wanted to talk about our experience with our vendor and the app in general. And we had a conversation today, a little half hour on the phone, very pleasant conversation, and was able to provide them with information they were looking for. And at our most recent Brighton Area Fire Authority meeting, we approved the construction costs for Station 31. So they can start moving forward with the rebuilding of that firehouse.
Station 31 being the Brighton Station on Grand
Brighton
River.
Station on Grand River, next to the car wash and across from the gas station.
Kind of the main hub.
The main hub.
They're gonna completely tear it down?
No.
No, they're gonna reuse a major portion of the building, carry part of it forward at a second floor, do a bunch of regrading around the parking lot to make things more level and ADA compliant. There's a bunch of security measures taken into account, and they're hoping for it to be a building that they can grow into over the next 30 years.
And this will also house full-time firefighters now,
Yes,
once it's done.
yes.
We'll start with 5, but it has the ability to go to 7 with no problem, more with minor changes down the line.
And the building can accommodate any future needs for larger or different fire trucks or apparatus.
It's a very nice building without being ostentatious.
Yes, and the cost per square foot came in, that was $277.32 per square foot, which is,
Pretty average
there's, well,
nowadays.
Pretty high, but
it's
average.
Fowlerville's Fire Station 1 was $318. DeWitt Charter Township Fire Station number 1 in August of 25, so it's new. That was $608. So our BAFA crew has done a really awesome job putting everything together to get us the best bang for our buck, and in a way that's really, it's forward-looking.
So there will be a little bit of a headache because that station will be completely closed for 12 to 14 months. So it'll be a little stir-up, but the plans look to be pretty solid for how to cover all the areas and hopefully keep response times excellent as they are, so.
The tentative plan is have Thanksgiving dinner there, and then move out.
Yep.
That's all I got.
All right. Mr. Bill.
So I was able to get a hold of Lieutenant Young from the Livingston County Sheriff Department. If you remember, I had a note maybe we could offer some citizen training enrichment courses here. And we had a conversation today. He's going to send me a list of the different types of training that the Sheriff's Department will do. The good thing is that all of their trainers are going to work for free. So it's the actual knowledge imparting is going to be no cost to the township. There's very few of the training courses that require any type of materials costs. He did say the CPR training class, if somebody wants to get the card, the certificate card, it's $5. So if this stuff comes to fruition, you know, and we get a better handle on the types of classes they're offering, he's got the CPR, he's got like an active shooter response, you know, what would you do type situation. He's got tactical, like stop the bleeding classes. So he's got quite a little list of, you know, depends on what people are in the mood for. I did tell them that, you know, we would intend to use the township hall here, you know, this room, as our classroom. I envision 1 to 2 hour training courses, and that we would put something like a sign-up sheet out on our website so that we could have residents sign up. As I said, it's gonna be pretty much for free.
Excellent.
Just show up. He'll have a trainer set up for each of the different courses. CPR, he only has 5 trainers, so he would have to limit the class size to 30 because you can only have a 6-to-1 ratio, student to instructor.
Okay, good to know.
So once I get that list, I'll forward it out there, but it sounded like he's got some neat stuff. And if the board would eventually approve just, you know, this is just for our residents, just pay. If there's a material cost, if there's whatever, I would propose that we would just take it out of our community outreach fund to pay for this type of training. But at least the wheels are turning on that finally. We'll get a list of those classes. And then in last week's planning commission meeting, one of the things was interesting is that Amy's put together a proposed ordinance which would enforce a moratorium. The Board of Trustees could enact a moratorium on development. And just say, you know what, we're developed, good, we're good. If we want to, or we don't like that, or we don't like that, so we would instate, look, let's just hold off on development for 3 months, 6 months, whatever that period of time is in the ordinance. So we can expect that to go to the planning commission again for approval, and then eventually it's gonna make its way to the board. So, that's something of interest. Other than that, those are my updates.
Okay.
You're shaking your head like, what is that?
No, I guess good. It's good. I'm glad.
Good? Huh? Okay.
We'll jump down to Miss Candy. Anything from Howell Park and Recs?
Well, I volunteered at the Melon Fest. I was telling
You stay dry?
Wade and Rick, it was hot. I was there Saturday morning handing out water and snacks to the vendors and thanking them. And I, said that I was part of the board that helped put this on. And it was nice in the morning, other than being really hot. I wasn't there when the weather hit, but it looked like it was devastating. It really was a lot of wind. I'm sure some of them stayed to hang on to their tents. I know they lost a lot. I think they canceled it at the end. They just couldn't go on with it anymore. But when I was there, it seemed fun. People were there wandering around, lots of kids, and that was nice.
Sounded like attendance was good?
I think so.
Till the weather.
I think so.
I think it sounded like the majority of them were able to come back on Sunday too, so.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah, it looked pretty wild.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It did, but it was good while I was there. I was glad to try and help them. I saw a couple of my other fellow board members that were there, helping too. And I did meet, you'll know this guy's name, Chad Nichols. He does the Brighton Fire Authority. He runs that school for the kids. And I guess it's through Howell Public Schools, but they can become firefighters after a year. So that was pretty interesting, once they succeed at that.
It's an excellent program. A lot of success out of that program.
Oh, and they do it up here at this fire station.
Yeah, we train them
Well,
here
they've
at
got a
Kitchener
really
Station.
cool
I know,
facility
so I
put
thought
together.
that was pretty neat. Not everybody's cut out for college, and they could get a job at that right away. And if they do the next year, which would be to become like a paramedic, all the same thing, high school credit, and they can get out of school, no debt, ready to go.
And Brighton
an
Fire is
excellent
hiring.
program.
Pardon?
Brighton
Nice
Fire is
take.
hiring.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, it was interesting. It was nice to see how he helps these kids, for that. And I did attend, because I was a Milford Memories volunteer, and I did attend a Stop the Bleed and Active Shooter
Did you? How'd
training.
you like
Yep. It was good. It was, wow, really? What do you do?
So, yeah, not always, so you gotta have iron stomach for some of the stuff that
I
they.
know,
Yeah.
like you're gonna run, you're gonna fight, you're gonna hide, how are you gonna feel if something happens like that? But the police department put that on
Yeah.
when we were there.
Yeah.
And then they had, how you do a tourniquet. Apparently you're supposed to tighten it up until the people are screaming at you to stop. It'd be iffy on that, I don't know. But that was, it was all good. It was good, good couple weeks. I was glad to help them. I wanted to see how the event went. I hadn't been in a long time. I didn't have any
Excellent.
trouble getting a parking spot, but I was there early. So, I was there before all it started, but it seemed nice.
Good, great.
Thanks
Well,
for
thank you
asking.
for
Thanks for
representing
listening.
our board in that capacity.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Anything exciting at ZBA?
Is there such a thing? Is it exciting?
Happy.
Yeah. No, there's not a, it's kind of quiet right now. We've got meeting tomorrow, so I'll have more next time, but nothing earth-shattering going on there. We've had more inquiries about concerns about monument signs versus pole signs and so forth. And a lot of people are utilizing the pole sign with updating it some way, keeping the pole there, wrapping it, or doing something to make it look nicer. So it appears that the businesses, especially in Grand River, they prefer a pole sign. Monument signs are too small and too low, and they're hidden behind a lot of other stuff. But that's something that'll be coming up as far as our zoning ordinances and so forth to look at. Some construction stuff, but it's pretty mild right now. We don't have a big agenda tomorrow. There's only 4 items on it tomorrow.
To piggyback on the sign thing, our ordinance officer has done a great job so far and getting with the violators to have them remove their signs.
Right.
I have to admit, WHMI did us a real solid by reporting on our last meeting, and they seem to have centered in on the fine discussion for those with signs. So amazingly, Carrie was able to breeze around pretty quickly, didn't have to get the ladder out to remove signs off poles. So that was a very effective discussion that we had.
100%.
Yeah.
Clerk Deaton, anything in the clerk's world you wish to espouse upon?
Well, we're working hard to clean up the voter rolls, and we are following state law and having to add a second ballot box location. I've been working kindly with the Brighton Fire Authority, and we requested one from the state of Michigan, and they gave us a free drop box. So we just have to pay for installation, and the fire authority is going to do the video monitoring for us. And I found a grant that will reimburse us for those expenses as long as it's still going on. So hopefully we'll get that installed in the next couple weeks.
Where is it going to be installed?
At the fire department off of Chilson Road.
Oh, okay.
So now we'll be all squared up with election laws and have everything organized, so, nice.
Excellent work as always.
Yep.
Treasurer, anything exciting in treasurer land?
Taking in those tax payments currently. September 15th is sneaking up fast. Seems like we just mailed out the bills, but we've been busy, and if anybody didn't get their tax bill, call us. We'll email it or send it. The post office may or may not be reliable all the time. So we'll put a link out for you. So we try to put links anywhere we can.
That link for the tax will be right at the top of the page, trust me.
There's gonna be links everywhere now. Humming right along.
All righty, excellent. All is quiet in the supervisor world, so with that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Any correspondence?
I did just have a few things if we're moving on to comments. Just a reminder that our next meeting is on a Tuesday, the day after Labor Day, which is unusual for us. We usually meet on Mondays, so just keep that in mind. Also, I'm thankful that Adam Van Tassel is still here because Adam was called 6:30 yesterday morning from Howell Parks and Rec regarding some down wires on the Township Hall property. They're cable wires, but I'm really thankful for Adam. He drove all the way here, and he doesn't live close at 6 in the morning to put up caution signs and then notify the companies, the utility providers about that potential hazard. And I just wanted to publicly thank him for that.
Good job, Adam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah, also last week there was a situation where a portion of our sidewalk was heaving, and we identified that, and Adam worked closely with Cooper's maintenance, and they were able to go out, saw cut the concrete, and put it back down so that it was safe. And I just wanted to publicly go on record to thank him for those efforts. And then also, you've already sort of mentioned it, but I talked to Carrie Alletti, our code enforcement officer, this afternoon, and there are only 3 signs left in our entire township on poles And she hopes to have those down by the end of the week.
Very good.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah.
And I guess real quick, we have 33 signed up for our Planning and Zoning for Everyone course on September 10th, which is a Wednesday at 6:30 right here. So if anyone hasn't signed up and is interested, it's going to be an excellent learning opportunity to learn the ins and outs of zoning. So that instead of complaining about why something was done, you'll understand that really was no say in what happened there. One example I can think of is people mentioning the approval of a Chipotle, which technically nobody even knew a Chipotle was coming until that moment. So they didn't technically approve a Chipotle, they approved a drive-through service instead of a coffee shop where people would pull in and go into, which seems like it was maybe a little better idea, but we don't get to pick winners and losers. If they meet the zoning, that's that.
Where's Chipotle going?
Next to
across
the
the
car
street.
wash.
The car wash across the street, the new one
To
from
narrow it
Walmart.
down.
So there's O'Reilly's. Then moving down Latson Road south, there's that brand new car wash, and those guys are really making headway on it now.
Looks good.
And then the one property south, it's still Woods or whatever. That's gonna be a restaurant, Chipotle possibly, and then a middle building, and then some type of restaurant or eatery at the other side. So it'll be 3 buildings right there.
We approved
One
the
building.
commercial building.
One building,
Three
three,
units.
That
three
was approved by the
occupants.
previous board, yes.
It was already approved. All they did was actually allow one of the units to have drive-through service. And it'll actually just be pickup for online orders, not a full service drive-through like you would see at maybe a McDonald's or a Burger King or something of that nature. So that's a little bit of a plus. So,
Helps with traffic.
yep. Okay. Now I will entertain that motion to adjourn.
I will move to adjourn.
I have a motion, I have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you very much for coming tonight, everyone.